If you want to know if you deserve to be loved, I'm going to answer that question in my own way throughout the next few minutes of this video. So stick around if you want to figure out if you deserve to be loved. If not, scroll away. Especially more so if you're not Christian, because if you're not Christian, this might sound a little bit more whack to you. I'm not going to get too philosophical, but basically, there was this thought that came upon me one day while I was working. And I thought about, you know what? Demons, right? The demons. They want to wreak havoc on the human experience, which kind of means they really value the human experience. Like, it's really significant to them. It carries a lot of weight. And it struck me because it's like, wait a minute. Well, if the demons value the human experience so much and they really want to get at it as much as possible, if they were given the opportunity, then what does that say about God and the angels and even just humans ourselves? We inherently deserve to be loved. We are built and created to love and be loved. And that was a very impressive answer to me because it kind of just washed away any doubt in my mind that I, myself, deserve to be loved. And it kind of just washed away any doubt, really, I suppose. And it was very relieving. I don't really question if I deserve to be loved or not. Because if the demons want to wreak havoc on a human life, on human experience, it just shows how valuable human life is. It shows how valuable I am. And I just deserve to be loved. Some people might probably twist that and say something ridiculous and philosophical. I don't know. I'm not really here to argue right now. I'm just saying this is how I overcame that doubt and that self-hate and that idea that I don't really deserve to be loved. You know, that weird wishy-washy feeling you grow up with where do you deserve it? Do you not deserve it? And what even is deserving? Are you allowed to expect love? Is love reciprocal? Is love unconditional? Things like that. But love, yes, we do deserve love. We deserve it. And as I was just walking on my way to the gym, I saw this young man. He was a pretty handsome young man, and I thought to myself, he looked like a tradie. And I asked myself, why does this person not deserve a girlfriend? Why doesn't he deserve a girlfriend? What prevents him from deserving love? It's just a very interesting question. Because there's so many people out there who are suffering, who are struggling to even acquire so-called love. They're daydreaming about it all day on TikTok comments and Facebook comments. You see all these not weird, but just cringy, self-flagellating posts everywhere throughout the internet describing what love is supposed to look like and what it's not supposed to look like. And it's super vague and it's very judgmental a lot of the time. And it's kind of like no wonder why the world is so effed up, because people describe love and relationship dynamics in such a way where it's very either one-sided. When I say one-sided, that's probably not what they say, but it's like, no, love is this way. This is how my picture of love looks like. And, if love doesn't look like that for you, then that's not real love. And I'm just like, damn, it's destroying our hypnotic rhythm so bad. Just like how scrolling on social media is just so bad and unhealthy. And as I was leaving the gym, I noticed there was a young couple there. There was a very, very attractive girl there. And she was hanging out with this one guy. He had orange hair or something. And I thought to myself, damn, she's so attractive and she's chosen that guy. Why does he deserve to be loved? Well, it's not so much the deserving part now that I'm focusing on. I'm actually moving away to being chosen, because I focus all about what it takes to be chosen. What does it take to be chosen? Do we deserve to be chosen? I don't know how to answer that just yet, because I was thinking about the attractiveness scale. If I see a very attractive, hot young woman, the desire to say yes is very high. But then I was thinking, well, the scale goes down and down and down if other factors come into play. What if she's a girl boss lawyer? Instant unattractive. Definitely for me, at least. And that's because of the potential risks and hazards that poses. She poses pretty much a threat, because of her status. And that's not saying that those things are not bad. It's saying that they're just unattractive, sexually unattractive. career unattractive, in my opinion. And it would be much more attractive to me if she was doing some other profession that, realistically, if we had more money, that would, if we had a life together, if I was daydreaming about it, she wouldn't have to be forced into labor, pretty much. Neither of us would be. We'd be running our own businesses, really, not working for some other corporation. And it really got me thinking again about the subconscious evaluation system. The subconscious evaluation system is a scale that weighs a bunch of factors, particularly variations of pain, and whichever pain is the least painful is more likely to be chosen, and that pain that is the pain that is more likely to be chosen is in alignment with a narrative or an identity in which our conscious entity, us, have attached ourselves to. But it got also me thinking, right, that this subconscious evaluation system, it weighs variations of pain, right? But one of the factors also includes pleasure, and people do like to tend to move towards pleasure. So if you have one spike over here and one spike over here, and you're in the middle, which of the two are you going to choose? You're actually more likely to stand in the middle to avoid both. But if one is less painful, like less spiky than the other spiky, you're more likely to choose the smaller spike to get stabbed with. And so you're more likely to choose the more pleasurable option, or the option that you foresee being more pleasurable than the more painful option. And so it got me thinking about that young man I saw again, who I saw him alone. He was quite handsome of a man. What thing would be like causing pain out of him to prevent someone like a young girl from entering into a relationship with him? What is that pain? And I asked myself the same question too, like what would the pain be that I might be exhibiting? What pain might that be? It's just a very interesting question because I can't put my thumb on it. And then same with that woman who was with that ginger beard guy. What pain is she avoiding where he's more pleasurable? There was a TikTok I watched a few hours ago of a divorce lawyer, and she was talking about how a man typically doesn't change when he's threatened with divorce, and when he does attempt to change, he goes back to his old ways. And albeit this may be true, perhaps, the unfortunate thing is it's actually very vague as well. What exactly warrants change? I mean, like, what specifically is the change we're talking about? What is the change? So let's say the man changes before his divorce, then what exactly is that change? There were some mentions of self-help books or whatnot. I'm guessing anger issues is probably one of these things that needs to be addressed. But let's say you resolve your anger issues. Let's say you read self-help books. I've done this for like 3 years. And, I deserve love. But where am I not yet chosen yet? You know what I'm saying? Like where, when, or at what point do I get chosen? And this is this is a question I want to answer very soon, because it's such a very meaningful question to answer, I think. At what point do you get chosen? I am writing a book, basically, on how to be chosen and the rules of relationships, going to the bare bone fundamentals, so that, well, it's not going to be just a book, it's also going to be like a course that I'm sort of working on. And I really want to answer that question, At what point do you get chosen? Because there are people out there in relationships where both parties are actually kind of slobs. And even a slob can get chosen. And so it makes me wonder, at what point do you get chosen? And again, with the divorce lawyer, right? There's so many women divorcing their husbands, right? It was true that their husbands were highly sexually attractive to these women. And same vice versa. However, over time, there seems to have some diminishing of the sexual attraction. And this is why it kind of reminded me, either this attraction itself is part of, or is the subconscious evaluation system itself, or it is a variant thereof. So attraction is like a scale here. And in order to make a deal or enter into an agreement, turning a no into a yes, the attraction scale needs to be extremely high, while the unattractive scale needs to be extremely minimalistic. And this is why it's important to make the deal as attractive as possible.